Good morning, Ms. Shiflet.
Good morning.
Can I please have you state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Summer Shiflet, Shiflet.
Ms. Shiflet, how do you know the defendant in this case?
She's my sister.
Lori Vallow Daybell. You're fine.
She's my sister.
And is she your older sister?
Yes.
And this is obvious without asking, Ms. Shiflet, but can I have you clarify for the record how that makes you related to J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan?
Tylee and J.J. were my niece and nephew.
And did you...
I'm sorry to interrupt too, Ms. Shiflet. If you don't mind, if you can kind of lean forward right to the microphone and talk into it, we'll make sure to pick up the recording.
Okay.
Thank you.
And did you play an active role in your niece and nephew's life?
Yes.
When were you first made aware that your niece and nephew were missing?
I think through the media, but probably December of 2019.
And at that time, December of 2019, were you in contact with your sister?
No.
Were you aware of where she was located at that time?
No.
Ms. Shiflet, have you had a close relationship with your sister?
Yes.
At some point, did you talk to your sister and ask her about J.J. and Tylee's well-being?
Yes. I think our first contact was in February of 2019 after she had been arrested.
And what did she tell you about J.J. and Tylee?
I don't remember the exact wording, but she basically told me that she was aware of where they were and that they were safe.
Ms. Shiflet, fair to say that you trusted what she told you?
Yes.
You believed your sister when she stated to you that J.J. and Tylee were safe?
Yes.
I'm going to draw your attention to early June of 2020 when J.J. and Tylee's bodies were found. You testified that you trusted your sister. After the discovery of J.J. and Tylee, did that change?
Yes.
Why?
I felt lied to, and my trust in my sister was broken.
Ms. Shiflet, a recording of a video visit between yourself and Ms. Vallow Daybell has previously been admitted in this case. Do you recall the date of that specific video call?
I believe it was on June 24th. I had received a request for me to call her.
And just for clarification of the record, do you recall the year?
2020.
Your Honor, can I be handed what has previously been admitted as State's Exhibit 34A?
Yes.
And, Your Honor, having been previously admitted, I now ask to publish what has been previously admitted and marked as State's Exhibit 34A to the jury.
All right, give me just a moment to confer with the clerks, please. All right, permission to publish is granted, Mr. Rammel.
Thank you, Judge.
backyard. And we don't understand how that happened or why. And you didn't tell us. And we're devastated. Did you know they were there? I can't talk about it. I don't know what to say, Lord. You know how much I love you and Alex. I'm just sick of my stomach. I didn't see anything like you never let anything happen to the kids and just let them be thrown away like garbage. And I can't take it to you and let this just, it's too painful. You think I let that happen? Yes, I do. Please. Is there another explanation? I'm willing to hear it. I don't want to think it. Absolutely, but I can't talk about it. You went off to Hawaii. You were dancing on the beach while your kids were in the ground. You had my girl when they went there. I just can't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I want to believe the best in you. I really do. I love you with all my heart. It kills me. They're just little kids. I don't understand. I don't understand. That's what I thought. Lori, if you let that happen to them and didn't tell us if this would be in the ground like a piece of trash, then I don't know you because you would have never done anything like that. That's correct. And if you knew and didn't tell us, that's not okay. We love them. We would have taken them. We would have taken care of them. You could have gone up and done anything you wanted. That's what you think? I don't know what to think. No, you haven't told us anything. We believe you. We stood up for you. I cannot. I would love to. You cut me and Mom off for 4 months and told everyone not to trust us because we tell Adam. And now we find this out and you expect me to just keep going on faith when there's been zero explanation and you expect me to just keep believing without ever having a question? That is what you're saying. Either explain it or don't expect me to not be upset and tell you when the kids are on Jeff's property. I'm not okay. I love them with all my heart. I would have taken Tylee and J.J. in a heartbeat, and everybody else would have too. You know that. You have no if they were in any danger. You're right, nobody does because you said nothing. Because everybody sees what's on TV. That's it. That has nothing to do with TV. This is your and my conversations. Before you left and cut me off. And now you expect me to be there for you when you were going to abandon me. And if you weren't in jail, you wouldn't even be talking to me. And we wouldn't even know they were dead still. This is your opinion. Yes. I deserve more than that. I've been there for you like a rock, and I went on TV and defended you. I've done everything to defend you, and I still would right now if you would tell me the truth. I would love to. I would love well, then, you didn't want to in October, November, December, January, or February when you weren't in jail. Why didn't you tell us then? Why you didn't call me when Alex died, which now I'm glad it's gone, if he was a part of this, but you didn't call to tell me Alex No, I don't. I think you were dancing on the beach having a great time. Getting married. And you took pictures to prove your kids don't deserve a burial, but you need to get wedding pictures? You don't think that's upsetting? Nobody knows. I'm sorry. Then nobody knows except for you and the Lord. Yeah, ask him. I have. And guess what? I don't have one scripture that says it's okay for children to be thrown away like garbage in the ground. And that's okay. There is nothing in the scriptures that is godly about hurting a child. Nothing. And they deserve a proper burial with family that loves them at the least. I can't support that. That's hurtful to everyone. That's the most selfish, incredibly selfish thing I can think of. I can't think of anything worse. They don't understand. They don't understand this is not my Lolo that I've known and loved. I've never even seen you be upset with your kids. I went to bed and you said that to everyone. I never have been. How can you just go on without them, without any upsetness, and without telling us anything and then expect us to understand? Nobody in the world knows what I've been through. And I don't expect you to. All you've seen is what's on TV, what everybody said, and all the expectations of all the people around. Okay, so now no, deceived. Say that. Everyone in the world is deceived except for you. Say that. Say nobody's seen me on the floor crying. Nobody knows what I've been through. With my children that I love more than anything. Lori, you were dancing on a beach with a smile on your face, taking wedding photos. Trying to go on with life. You don't see? Trying to find some kind of happiness. You think I want to be alone? Do you think that your mother and your sister and your son don't deserve to know that the children are gone? Why wouldn't you call and tell us that? Why were we cut off? You saying you want to go on and be happy? You're just going to be happy without your family and your life until you're stuck in jail and I'm the only one stupid enough to be your friend when I've been your best supporter, Lori. I've loved you my whole life. I still do. I can't bear to think of anything bad about you. It hurts me. I don't want to see you in jail. I don't want you to be there. I don't want people to misunderstand. If you would tell me the truth, I would stand up for you for the rest of the time. You know that I would. I love you so much. But there is nothing okay about this. Nothing. If you think it's okay, well, you have to say about this is okay. This is okay. Nothing about this is okay, Summer. Lori, we have all read the scriptures. I know you've told me about a lot of your spiritual experiences. You know I've tried to support you in all of them. But I am telling you, because I love you with all my heart, please consider that Chad has lied and been deceived, and that you have been deceived, and that this is not what you think it is. There is nothing okay about killing children. Nothing. And even if you didn't kill them, and Dad didn't kill them, and Alex didn't kill them, you threw them away like garbage in the ground. You tried all the birds. You think I did that too? I can't handle that. And threw her in a bag. Stabbed her. You know that's such a great. How can you not understand? I don't understand. It's so painful. I can't even tell you.
Your Honor, that's all I have for this witness. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rammel. All right, Exhibit 34A has been returned to the court clerk. Is there cross-examination? Mr. Archibald.
I'm sorry you had to relive that.
Thank you.
So just some foundation to give some background here. You're Lori's younger sister, you said?
Yes.
And you're one of how many children?
I'm the youngest of 5.
And who's the oldest child?
Stacy, my oldest sister.
And is she alive or is she deceased?
She's deceased.
And did she have any children before she died?
Yes.
And who would that be?
My niece, Melanie.
Okay. Is that who we've heard the name Melanie Bedreau or Melanie Pulowski? Is that Stacy's child?
Yes.
Okay. And then who's next after Stacy?
Alex.
And then Alex Cox is who we've heard that name during this trial as well. How much older is he than you?
I think 8 years.
Okay. And then who's next after Alex?
Adam.
And Adam Cox, where does he live now?
St. George, Utah.
Okay. And then, and he was a friend of Charles Vallow?
Yes.
Okay. And then who's next after Adam?
Well, my parents had a child that died. Her name was Laura Lee. We called her Lolly. But she died before I was born.
Okay. How old was she when she died?
6 weeks.
Okay. And then after her, who was next?
Lori.
And so Lori is how much older than you?
2 years.
And so you and Lori grew up together?
Yes.
And you grew up together where?
In Rialto, California.
And how old were you when you moved away from California?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
How old were you, or how long did you live in California?
I think until I was about 17 or 18.
Okay. So you and Lori would have been adults by the time that you moved away from California?
Yes.
So would you describe, how would you describe your relationship with Lori growing up?
I feel like we had a close relationship. We had a lot of similar interests and friends in common, and we did a lot of activities together.
Okay. Go to schools together?
Yes.
Go to church together?
Yes.
How would you describe your family life?
I think we had a good family. I mean, we had problems, but we also had a lot of fun.
Okay. And do you remember when Lori, her first marriage?
Yes.
Do you remember how old she was?
It was right out of high school, so I think 18.
So she was 18 and you were 16 when that happened?
Yeah.
And did that marriage last long?
No.
Do you remember her second marriage?
Yes.
And who was that to?
William LaJoya.
And is that the father of Colby, who we met here last week?
Yes.
Okay. And did that marriage last long?
Longer than the first, but not that long.
Okay. And then did Lori get married again?
Yes.
And who was her third husband?
Joseph Ryan.
And is Joseph Ryan the father of Tylee Ryan?
Yes.
And during this time of these relationships that Lori was having, did you stay close with Lori?
Off and on.
When did you get married?
In 2000.
And so did you have your own life that you were trying to live as well?
Yes.
And did you try to maintain good contact with Lori?
Yes, but we lived in 2 different states, so it was more challenging.
Okay. And you have children of your own?
Yes.
And how many children do you have?
3.
Okay. And do you recall when Lori separated from Joe Ryan?
Yes.
And did Lori protect Colby and Tylee from Joe Ryan?
Yes.
All right. And so when you talk on this phone call with your sister Lori, that you would have never done anything to harm your children. Is that the way you felt?
Yes.
Okay. And that's because of seeing her raise Colby and Tylee and J.J.
Yes.
Did you also get to know Charles Vallow?
Yes.
And if you can briefly tell us about the relationship between Charles and Lori?
I think they had a great relationship in the beginning, and they seemed very compatible, and they seemed very happy.
And they adopted J.J.?
Yes.
And were you involved in your sister's life when that happened?
Yes.
Were you involved in your sister's life when Lori and Charles separated?
Yes.
Were you aware that Charles had filed for divorce?
I'm not sure if I knew that until it came out in the media, because I don't think she was ever served.
Okay. And then as far as you knew, they had reconciled?
Yes.
Okay. So were you a part of Lori's life when Charles and J.J. moved to Texas?
Yes. Not as close, but yes.
Okay. Were you a part of Lori's life when the whole family had moved to Hawaii?
Yes.
Now, was Hawaii a destination that your family had gone to as well when you were a child?
I had been there one time as a child, and then I didn't go back again until I was a married adult.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did go back one time before I got married, so I had 2 trips before I got married.
Okay. And so was that a place that your father and mother had taken you and the family?
Yes.
All right. How did you see Tylee grow up?
Yes.
How would you describe Tylee?
I would describe her as beautiful and witty and very talented in a lot of different ways.
Did she have health issues in her life?
Yes.
Do you remember what those were?
She had pancreatitis several times.
And do you know what that is?
It's a swelling of your pancreas.
Was that something that required hospitalization?
Yes.
Okay. And were you able to see Tylee and Lori together?
Yes.
And can you describe that?
I think Lori was a loving mother, and Tylee adored her mother. They fought sometimes. Tylee had a little sassy streak in her, but I always felt like Lori was very patient with her.
Were you ever concerned about the safety of Tylee around Lori?
No.
Would you ever imagine your sister wanting to kill her kids?
No.
Would you ever imagine your sister being involved in conspiring to kill her kids?
No.
Now, the way you were you raised in a way to believe in Jesus?
Yes.
And the Jesus that you were taught about, was that a Jesus who was kind and loving?
Yes.
And is that how you were taught?
Yes.
And is that how Lori was taught?
Yes.
And is that how Lori taught her children?
Yes.
So, did you ever hear your sister talk about multiple lives?
She and Alex had both mentioned that to me, I think, in late 2018.
Okay.
It's the first time.
Was that something new?
Yes.
Was that something that you had been taught as children?
No.
Did you ask Lori where this new belief was coming from?
I don't know if I asked her that directly.
Did she talk about multiple creations?
Yes.
Being reincarnated as different people over the eons of time. Is that what she was telling you?
Not with the word reincarnated, but yes.
Okay. So they weren't using the word reincarnated, but multiple probations, multiple creations.
Correct.
And is that something new that you had heard?
It was new to me.
Had you ever heard Lori talk about being someone in another life prior to late 2018?
No.
At this time in late 2018 or early 2019, did she tell you that she had been someone else in another life?
Prior to 2018?
Prior to 2018.
No.
In late 2018 or 2019, did she tell you that?
Yes.
Did she tell you about her previous lives?
Yes.
Did any of that make sense to you?
Not really.
Did you believe it?
I tried to. I wanted to believe her, but it didn't make sense.
Did she tell you in late 2018, 2019 about zombies?
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to object to hearsay. Ms. Vallow Daybell is not a party opponent as to the defense. The exception does not apply.
Let me think about that for just a minute. Mr. Rammel, can you further explain why you think the exception would not apply here and why this would be hearsay?
Judge, I think the exception, he's asking specifically for statements of his client. She is a party opponent of the state. The party opponent from the state's perspective wouldn't apply to Ms. Vallow, who is the client of Mr. Archibald.
All right, what's your response to that, Mr. Archibald?
Your Honor, this is just some foundation. I think the jury's already heard bits and pieces of this. This is just to confirm that information.
It's been admitted in this state's case in chief, and I do find that it's relevant and would not be hearsay. So I'll overrule the objection and allow the witness to answer that last question, which was, and I'll just cite, did she tell you in late 2018, 2019 about zombies was the question. So you can answer.
I don't recall her ever telling me about zombies, that word. I don't remember her ever using that terminology.
Okay. Did she talk to you about her ability to cast out evil spirits?
I believe so.
Did she tell you about light and dark scales?
Yes.
And is that something that you had heard before that time period?
Never.
Did she tell you that she was a goddess?
I don't recall if she used that terminology.
Did she tell you that she was a leader of the 144,000?
No.
Did she tell you that there was a new church called the Church of the Firstborn?
I don't recall her ever telling me that specifically.
Okay. Were you concerned about your sister with her new beliefs?
I don't know that I was concerned about safety of anybody. I just was concerned. I mean, of course I care about my sister, but I didn't really know what to think about it. Okay. So I don't know if concerned is the right word.
Okay, but fair enough. How was your relationship with Alex?
I was close with Alex.
Now, can you tell the jury what he was like?
Well, he was my big brother, and sometimes he was hilarious and fun, and sometimes he was kind of crude or obnoxious in a way. But most of the time, we got along really well, and he was at my house most weekends playing games with my kids.
And did he have children of his own?
No.
Did he suffer a brain injury as a teenager?
Yes.
And what was that, from a car accident?
Yes.
And did that brain injury in that car accident, did that affect him?
I believe it did.
Was he different after that car accident than he was before?
He seemed almost stuck in making like teenage decisions. He got in his car accident at 16, and he kind of made decisions like a 16-year-old most of his life.
So he was, that's what you observed, is that he was stuck as a teenager.
In his decision making, yes.
Okay. Do you stay in touch with Colby Ryan?
Yes.
And Colby had previously stated, my mom spent her whole life protecting us kids. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Colby also stated after she met Chad Daybell, she changed. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Thank you for your testimony.
All right, thank you, Mr. Archibald. So to clarify there, counsel had requested of the court prior that the defense was going to call Ms. Shiflet as their own witness, so the court permitted the defense to go beyond cross and have a direct examination essentially there. So with that then, Mr. Rammel, if you'd like to conduct cross and or redirect, you can do so.
Thank you, Judge. Just very quickly. Ms. Shiflet, just a couple questions for you. I'm going to draw your attention back to the time period in which you were made aware that J.J. and Tylee were missing. You testified that your sister told you that she knew where Tylee was?
I don't remember if she used that wording, but yes, that was what was relayed to me.
Okay, and conveyed to you that she knew where J.J. was?
Yes.
She told you that they were safe?
Yes.
Ms. Shiflet, she lied to you about them being safe?
I believe so, yes.
Judge, that's all I have.
All right. That will conclude then the testimony of Ms. Shiflet. Is she allowed to be excused from any subpoena she's under at this time?
Your Honor, that would be the state's request.
All right. Does the defense have any reason to not have her released from the subpoena?
No, Your Honor, no objection.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Archibald. Ms. Shiflet, then you can go ahead and be escorted out of the courtroom by the bailiff. Thank you for your testimony.